You should have kept it on.
No, he said he that line about the surface being tight.
Shit.
Yeah.
All right.
It's not the only thing that's tight.
What is going on, everybody? So yeah, it's been a bit since I've been on here because I've been a little busy with family and work and everything else, but we're live right now, and I'm joined by Ryan and Matt Zeverfett.
Axel Salacious Crumb.
And then we got Axel Droga all the way from down under. From
I love how
Australia.
Ryan. I love how Ryan did.
How we doing?
I love how Ryan did two of those like laughs, and then like they gradually got higher. Then the clip was just a little bit higher than his last laugh.
It was just a little bit higher, a little bit higher. But wait a minute, hold on a second, Ryan. Before we introduce everybody else, I mean, Ryan, can you get Matt a chair? Like, what the fuck?
Oh, he's only here for a minute.
Oh,
He's about to head out. So I was like, "There's no point."
He's in a crouch. I'm like, God, it's uncomfortable. You know?
I only do it for guests that are gonna stay.
It's his leg. He skipped leg day.
That's a lot of work.
He skipped leg day.
Yo, before the show started, Dawson was like, "Yeah, that's not the only thing that's tight." And it was like,
Yeah.
I'm glad someone caught that.
Yeah,
that was perfect. I was glad it went that way. So, okay, look, there was some big fucking news that dropped today. Obviously, I'm not gonna hide it. It was pretty big. I mean, look.
News.
I mean, the past 24
James
hours
Gunn, Peter Safron, we're going to get to that really, really shortly. But, I mean, before we get to anything else,
Saffron.
Again, let's say who all's here. Axel Droga all the way from Australia. What's going on, Axel? We got Anthony from the ACS Universe.
How you doing?
Axel, shut the fuck up.
Dang.
I'm just kidding. Axel.
I think I got a delay. Maybe. G'day. What's up?
All right. We got Axel. We got Anthony from the ACS Universe. What's up, Anthony?
What up?
What's up, man? Hey, both the Packers and the Niners are playing like dog shit.
Trash, man.
Trash.
And the Broncos, so we all hate. We all
Hey,
love
all
right
3
now.
and 4. Yay, the 3 and 4 squad. You know
Yeah,
what
that's
I'm
it.
2 and
There it is.
5.
Oh shit, my bad.
We have Dawson,
Same boat though. Same boat.
the
Just different seats.
the showrunner of the Four Nerds Network, formerly Nerdy Many Ways. What's going on, man?
Title. I love the title. Thank you. It sounds distinguished.
And then we got Isaac from Multiverse of Movies. What's up, Isaac?
Yo, what's up, y'all?
What's up? What's up? Okay, so look, let's cut to the chase here. We could talk about a lot of different things, but I think we all know that. What was that? Oh, it's muted now. Okay, I think we all know what the main topic is, so I think we should just jump right to it. Today, they made a huge fucking announcement. An announcement that shook the fucking core of, like, not only the Snyderverse fandom, but, like, of every fan of DC and comic book movies out there altogether. So let's take a look at this. It's breaking news, and it's our main topic. It is the new DC head, or should I say heads? Because there's two of them. His head.
This just in. Andre can do math.
I can do math. So here it is, guys. As for James Gunn's future at Marvel, there's been talk that he could continue. However, yeah, that's not going to happen because now he and Peter Safran are the heads of DC Studios. You guys, this is it. This is our guys. These are the two guys that are going to lead the way for DC Studios moving forward. I mean, this is I did not predict this. Scoopers never predicted this.
No one predicted this.
Nobody saw this coming. Okay, I thought it was clever when I said Hiram Garcia. I thought, you know what? I feel good about that, right? I feel good about it. I was wrong. I'll take the L. It doesn't matter if I take an L or not. But this was no one saw this one coming, especially these two guys. I mean, we had so many different names. Obviously there was Dan Lin who was in the running for it. I think really it was him pushing to get that job, but it didn't actually work out because of his production company, and they wanted to absorb that company as well because they're fucking dirt. They're running out of money, so they're like, dude, we don't have any money to take on your company. And so essentially, who knows how far those talks even went? I think it felt more like it was Dan Lin kind of pushing the envelope, trying to make that deal happen.
Mm-hmm.
But they reported that about 2 weeks ago that negotiation had fell through.
Yeah.
So the search continued. In the meantime, they made some pretty big fucking announcements. Obviously, Superman coming back, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. And then Black Adam came out, which we're also going to talk about in a little bit. And now that Anthony is here, I hope he stays for a little bit longer because I'd love to talk about House of the Dragon because that was fire.
Yeah, it was dope.
It was dope. Okay, so let's go to this article real quick. I mean, and then we'll get everyone's takes on it. So it says the hierarchy of power in DC Universe really is changing. In a stunning turn of events, filmmaker James Gunn and Peter Safran have been tapped to lead DC's film, TV, and animation efforts as co-chairs and co-CEOs of DC Studios and newly formed division at Warner Brothers to replace DC Films. So not only are they going to be watching over the movie aspect of DC Studios, but also TV and animation as well. I mean that's the whole 9 yards, you know. And so they're giving these two guys a lot. But what has me worried the most is that again, you have a creative, and then you have a business guy in Peter Safran. He knows the business, knows the production, knows all that, right? So, again, this is the same thing we got when we had John Berg and Jeff Johns. Now, replace Jeff Johns with James Gunn, replace John Berg with Peter Safran. Okay, so to me, this is like a similar strategy they tried before, and it crashed and burned really, really bad. Let's see. And then do me a favor, Ryan, can you control the chat, please?
Yeah, chat. Y'all quit doing your shit.
Grace didn't predict this.
Their control.
I love the Avatar Venom. Badass. That's one to keep right there. So as it goes on, it says this unprecedented move in which a top director will assume top executive postmarks the end of months-long search for Warner Brothers. Discovery CEO David Zaslav to replace DC Films boss Walter Hamada, who departed the studio last week. The search had all of Hollywood guessing who was going to play it. Scoopers had no fucking clue. I know there's somebody out there who says that they knew 30 minutes in advance, but who knows if that's even true? If he did, he did. Hey, great, but they didn't. I think otherwise. In recent weeks, Gunn and Safran were spotted on the Warner Bros. Lot. They were on the fucking lot, meeting with Warner's film co-chairman Michael DeLuca about the future projects. And according to sources, the initial overture to Safran and Gunn came from DeLuca over the summer, even as the studio was in shaky talks with producer Dan Lin to take the job. So they were already negotiating these guys all the way back in, when was it? I just read the damn thing. In the summer. Yeah. So, I mean, this is not something that happened overnight. I mean, like they were already engaged in conversations. And we'll get to Zack Snyder comments as well. I mean, come on. Gunn will focus on so this is where it kind of breaks it down. So Gunn will focus on the creative side of things, while Safran will focus on the business and production side. Both are expected to continue to direct and produce projects respectively. They will report directly to David Zaslav and work closely with Warner Bros. Bosses DeLuca and Pamela Abdi. Sources say the deal runs for 4 years. Okay, so four more years we're gonna have of Gunn and Safran, which will be exclusive to DC. The goal is for them not to just be producers, but to truly function as executives, even as Gunn will occasionally hone a movie. And that's another topic that we're going to talk about as well, is that where do we think that James Gunn will end up directing? What movie will he end up directing next within the DC universe? Because now he's pretty much locked in. I mean, yes, he has Guardians of the Galaxy 3 and the holiday special, but once you get past that, everything in the next 4 years is going to be DC driven.
Right.
Now, I know that, Ryan, you're not a huge fan of this decision.
I'm not a huge fan of James Gunn.
Exactly.
So we'll just say that. We'll just say that. I mean, unless he's, of course, going to hire, Kevin Spacey to come back as, Lex Luthor, because, they probably travel in the same circles.
Or
Bryan Singer probably come back for another Superman, directorial debut. So yeah,
Probably
I mean,
friends with Brett Ratner.
you know how they all do. So
Brett
yeah,
Ratner.
that's one reason why I'm not happy about the James Gunn decision. I think there's a lot of creatives out there, and I think he's just there. And you know, he was brought over by Hamada and Emmerich to sort of rewrite the or write out the Snyderverse, if you will. And with the Suicide Squad, you know, one of the first and Anthony's, you know, and I've talked about this a lot, you know, one of the first things that he was instructed to do was to kill off, you know, the members of David Ayer Suicide Squad on screen.
Except for Harley.
Except for Harley, because, you know, she makes money.
Was that confirmed though? Was that confirmed, or is that just assumed that was?
Anthony is pretty, and myself, we're pretty certain.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sorry, but they spent money. They spent money on a CG heart and a CG knife going into the heart.
They're like, just to show you, he really did die.
Yes, they're like, there's no way, out of this one, guys.
No Android.
Killing off Captain Boomerang is just offensive. I'm sorry, you don't kill him off.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan.
That just felt. That's an Australian
like
offense. Maybe he hates Australians. I don't know.
Also, the fact that like
he's a national treasure.
Also, like Jai Courtney was so perfectly cast as Captain Boomerang.
He really
like,
was.
Yeah, he killed it.
He was.
I mean, after all of the roles that he just, I want to say, failed in, for him to come in and actually get something that you know he was actually good at, and
then you kill him off.
You kill him off.
No.
I'm not a fan of this shit. I think it's stupid, and I'm not excited. I'll watch the next 4 films, I think. And yeah, I guess at the end, what Aquaman 2. So it's Shazam 2, The Flash, and then Blue Beetle, and then Aquaman 2.
Blue Beetle.
Those are the ones that I'm interested. I could give a shit what happens later. I was stoked
Ryan.
yesterday with Henry. But you know what?
All of us were.
Man, fuck James Gunn. Fuck James Gunn. I don't give a fuck.
Okay, there we go. We
so
go.
I kind of have a slightly different take on this. You guys all know I don't like really James Gunn either.
I don't agree with Gillis either.
The only thing that I like from James Gunn is the first Guardians of the Galaxy. That's the main thing that I like from him.
I thought that was a great movie.
Yeah.
I
thought that was good at first when I
Absolute
first saw
fire.
that, but then
It was fine until the end, you know, when they did their dance off, and
right.
And I kind of, you know, akin that to, like, you know, what if he was in charge of not a Guardians of the Galaxy, but a Green Lantern movie, which is also, you know, very similar in
he's gonna cast
scope.
Chris Pratt as Hal
and then
Jordan,
you know you
I
have
swear to
fucking
God.
you know Hal Jordan and you know John Stewart doing a dance off at the end against the yellow and the red lanterns.
But
Like,
here's my
like,
thing with
it's
this,
dumb.
though. Here's where my take kind of differs. You guys mentioned how James Gunn was brought in by the previous regime. Now, do you remember the main thing that they talked about with James Gunn coming in and doing the Suicide Squad? They gave him full creative control, right? They let him do whatever the heck that he wanted.
That's true.
So my thing is that, again, I'm not a big fan of the guy, both his personality from things in his past as well as some of his movies that he's done. But I would like to imagine that as a former director or a current director, right? He knows what it's like to have a studio executive breathe down his neck. So I think a positive that could come from this, I don't know if this will be the case, but I hope it is that as an executive, he will let filmmakers come in and have creative control, which could be really good because when directors have creative control, it tends to turn out better. I mean, look at Todd Phillips with the Joker. Look at Matt Reeves with the Batman. It ends up being a lot better. Man of Steel with Zack Snyder. I mean, back then he was given a lot of control what he could do, right? And so I'd like to imagine that James Gunn gives that same creative control to creatives that come in and direct these films. And so that could be a positive that comes from this. Again, I don't know if that'll be the case, but it could be something to look at.
It definitely could be, because I mean, look, you're putting a director. I mean, when it all started, you had Zack Snyder, who was a director, to basically architect this whole universe, and now you're doing it again with James Gunn. But here's the difference, though, between James Gunn and Jeff Johns is that James Gunn has actually been a successful director, you know, in making movies, while James Gunn. I mean, I'm sorry, but where Jeff Johns has not. There's a lot of J's and G's.
Whoa. Yeah. Jeff Johns. What is Jeff? Jeff Johns is going to be working with James Gunn.
Well, what I'm saying is that in that capacity of being the co-head of DC films or DC Studios.
I get you. Okay.
And so at least you have somebody there who's actually made, you know, big budget movies as opposed to Johns, who hadn't. He hadn't done that. He'd only been a part.
He was only in comics, and so he was in a world that I don't want to say wasn't familiar with, but because he is friends with Donner, and he also is friends with Feige. What's up, Q?
I don't know. Could be.
Wait, didn't they work together like a car wash or something?
Who?
Kevin Feige and Jeff Johns.
They went to school together, I thought.
They kind of apprenticed under Richard Donner.
Richard Donner, yeah.
Yeah. So they know each other in that way. And another thing I want to point out, too, is that this was pointed out to me by another friend, is that you guys remember, I didn't watch Peacemaker, but you guys remember when the whole Justice League cameo happened, right? How those pictures that came out afterwards of someone who would actually put on the bat suit and had a cameo in there. And it turns out, or at least that I heard, that James Gunn had filmed a version where they had Batman and Cyborg in the Justice League lineup.
Yeah.
So that kind of shows to me that, although again James Gunn's taste is interesting, to say it lightly, that at least he wanted to include things that Zack had done before, but the studio above him said no, right? Walter Matthau was like, no, hell no to that.
Again, that lines up with what The Rock was saying, that every time he brought up the fact that he wanted to have Henry Cavill's Superman in the movie, he was told no. Especially from Hamada, right? Now,
yes.
Am I saying that James Gunn is going to do a magnificent job as a co-DC?
We don't know.
We don't know.
Maybe. No.
We don't know. Now, his track record, you could say, is spotty at best, and it is highly questionable based on some of the decisions that he's made personally on social media. I don't think that some of the things that he's done have been all that great, and I'm not really supportive of some of the things that he has done, especially on social media. Now, but when it comes to being in this position, sort of what Bat City stuff says, November 5th, we tweet at James Gunn, for he is the key to the air cut. Think about that. All these hashtags now that you're putting out there, you're tweeting at James Gunn. As opposed to
James
Warner
Gunn
Brothers.
on social media has said that he would like to see David Ayer's cut released. So there's an argument to be made there.
What's up, Caleb? Has anything happened in DC this week? Well, a little bit. So let's go back to the article real quick.
Sure, you should have watched Fandom.
Yeah, you should have watched Fandom.
It's going to be the year of heroes.
Yeah.
The year of
They're
heroes.
going to announce the Ayer cut, and they're going to. Okay, so right here it says, but everything else moving forward would be under Gunn and Safron. A quote here says, DC has among the most entertaining, powerful, and iconic characters in the world, and I'm thrilled to have the singular and complementary talents of James and Peter joining our world-class team and overseeing the creative direction of the storied DC universe. And so that's a new thing too, is that they're calling it DCU. Sort of like the MCU, now it's the DCU, which it should have been in the first fucking place. I don't know why the fuck we started calling it the DCEU. It has
it's Worlds of DC.
Worlds of DC.
Oh yeah, I remember that quick stint.
Multiverse.
They tried so hard to rebrand, and it was just like, dude, you missed your shot. You guys are idiots.
Yeah.
It says here, Zaslav in the statement said, their decades of experience in filmmaking, close ties to creative community, and a proven track record thrilling superhero fans around the globe make them uniquely qualified to develop a long-term strategy across film, TV, and animation, and take this iconic franchise to the next level of creative storytelling. Now,
I have a question though, real quick. Of course, we know what
James
Gunn's done in the superhero genre. I know Safron was involved, like the Conjuring stuff. What superhero stuff has he been involved in?
He was Aquaman, I think, and Shazam.
Oh, okay.
I saw his names on those.
Ryan, can you bring up his IMDb and we'll share it?
I couldn't remember it, so I'm just trying to remind myself.
Hakuna Matata.
What a wonderful phrase.
Saffron. There's a song that has Saffron in it.
You can buy Safron. It's expensive though.
I have Saffron in my pantry.
Yeah?
In my pants.
There's a bat in my belfry.
Yeah, it's a spice. Yeah.
So Batman says Aquaman and Shazam is what he was a part of.
Yeah.
Right.
So let's continue on here. We go next. Gunn is one of the more respected minds in the world of comic book filmmaking. It's arguable. He came to the yada Peacemaker and Suicide Squad. It's funny because I was at my kid's gymnastics class, right? And so I was like, you know what? Let me take this time to watch instead of watching my son. I was like, let me watch some the Suicide Squad scenes because I haven't watched the movies that I watched the first time because I didn't think it was all that great.
Yeah.
It still wasn't that great. I was like, I don't really. A lot of these scenes aren't that great. I was not a huge fan of it.
There were
So
things I liked,
Saffron
but
worked with James Gunn on his Peacemaker show. So Andre, you'll love that. And
Does he look like a bitch?
he was also connected with The Nun and The Nun 2 and The Conjuring and The Crooked Man. So I guess a lot of James Wan productions as well.
Safron.
Did you guys see that Jay Oliva congratulated James Gunn?
Yeah, I have that pulled up as well, so I'll get to that.
Sorry,
we're jumping ahead. I'm just kidding. Okay, so he has some experience, right?
Yeah.
And it says here, Safron came up as a manager where Gunn was among his clients and is fully enmeshed in the world of DC as the producer of 1 billion grossing Aquaman and the upcoming sequel, as well as Squad, Peacemaker, and Shazam in its sequel. So he's intertwined in those films as it is. So it makes sense that they would bring in somebody who's already a part of these films.
Right.
But again, these films that are coming out, I heard people earlier saying, at least, we got to look forward to, Aquaman and The Flash. And remember, you guys, these are still projects that were filmed under Hamada's reign. Now, yes, we've heard rumors that they're going to go back and shoot additional photography, shoot new scenes and all that, but you can only do so much before it becomes a fucking mess. Right. You know what I'm saying?
I agree. It can the water can definitely get muddied,
exactly,
especially when you're working with a narrative.
Yes, exactly. and so that becomes a question is, people keep saying, new scenes, rewrites, whatever, but it can only go so far.
Yeah.
The only time that I've ever heard of a situation where additional photography happened and I was happy that it was happening was the Snyder Cut.
No.
Every other time, like a lot of additional photography, obviously it happens, but additional photography and reshoots, right? Every time I hear those phrases when they're talking about a movie, I'm just like, great.
And real quick, let me say a big shout out and a big thank you to Mr. Q. Actually, I had a filling done today, and I thought about you the entire time. He says, Saffron, I don't want your money. I want Aquaman. Actually, I want money. So, Q, this is for you. Thank you for the super chat, the $5 super chat. And for you, I will mock Dawson.
Dodson, we've got Dodson here. Nobody cares.
My mockery is your pleasure.
That's such a good
What up?
That was worth every bit of the $5.
What up, Q?
Hey, Andre, check out the meme I'm sharing. I just made.
Oh God, here we go.
So Aya fans, are you gonna do something about the Aya cut? And James Gunn's like, no, but I'm pretty upset about it.
Oh my gosh. I do think that's more a possibility with James Gunn, though. I really do.
Yeah, I hope I'm wrong about that because
here's my thing though, is that again, we're asking Peter Safran and James Gunn to hand over full creative control of a Justice League project or a Man of Steel 2 project, whatever the fuck project that they would offer to, like, let's say Zack Snyder. Are they going to do that? Are they going to say, okay, we're going to bring you in and we're going to give you total freedom and creative control, do whatever the fuck you want?
They are tight, so
But are they going to do that? But if he comes back, is he going to have to stay within their continuity? Like, yeah, we're not doing what you did. We're doing something different, and we want you to be a part of that. You see what I'm saying? Like, so maybe he comes back. If he were to come back, maybe he does a movie. I don't know, but he's making awesome shit over at Netflix,
right?
And which we're all going to support. But to me, to say that Zach could come back, I want him to. I just don't see it happening anytime soon.
Fair.
The only way I can see it is like how he did for like Army of Thieves. That is proof that he doesn't need to be directed. He can produce these movies. He can have he can write the movies or something, like produce them, and that's how I see it. That's the biggest possibility because
he can be involved without being a director and it still works out well.
Yeah. He can be a director but not being director. at the same
Yeah,
time.
but the Thieves movie was more of a spin-off.
It was.
I don't see him handing off like Planet of the Dead or anything like that. I could see him like if there's a Blood Axe spinoff with Ray Fisher, sure somebody else can direct it.
Yeah.
But his Rebel Moon 1 and 2, that's all Zach.
Right.
And the animated shows, I don't know how much or how greatly involved he is with those, working with Jay Oliva, but who knows? Who knows? It'd be cool to have him come back, but I mean, to be honest, it's like, would he want to? Other than just like, I want to finish my story to tell, but
that's what I'm saying. Is he even going to get a chance to finish his story?
I mean, if I'm Zach, just being subjective, if I'm Zach, I'm going to wait to see how this shit turns out. I'm going to wait to see how does this new regime, how do they run business over there?
Besides, he's tied up in Netflix right now as it is, so he's already going to have that built-in time to figure that out.
Yeah, exactly, because he's going to be doing the project with them. And then I'm also hearing rumors that they are going that they're getting ready to offer him a contract extension over at Netflix as well. Because I mean, they're not going to invest this much money into Zack Snyder and then be like, okay, well, thanks a lot, see you later.
We hear there's a possibility of a Justice League movie. We'll let you go.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
Now we have Taylor Murphy here as well. What's up, Taylor?
What up?
What's up, man?
So I was gonna say you just saw him the other day. So
like 30 minutes ago, actually.
Yeah, like a couple hours ago.
Oh, was it really? Oh,
yeah. Oh, actually, no, 2 hours ago. Yeah.
So Taylor, what is your take on this? I mean, with Peter Safron and James Gunn.
Well, I mean, I kind of went into it on my show. My take is essentially that I may not like everything that James Gunn has done directorially, but when he does seem to be the kind of person that pushes directors to allow to have themselves creative freedom. My biggest one was that the movie Brightburn, he really reinforced that that director's vision and allowed him to do that.
Wasn't that written by his brother?
I think it might have been, but he was just like a limited capacity producer, and he let that director just do his thing, which was kind of what DC needs. Honestly, DC needs to have someone who trusts their artists and their vision and lets them do it. And I think James Gunn knows very well, since he is so vocal and so kind of plugged in with the fans, that he's very aware of how bad things can go if you turn on the fans. So I think that I'm going to be just cautiously optimistic about it. I think he, we find out next week when he actually takes the job, right? I mean, he takes the job on Tuesday, so
officially,
yeah. So
but he's probably been working in, behind the scenes doing that for a little bit. That's usually how it's not just hey we got this idea, and
it doesn't happen overnight. Like,
we're going to give you a plaque next week for your desk.
Yeah. He's already moved into his office, was what you're saying.
I mean, you got to believe he has at least started to, right? I mean, so, I'm going to be optimistic about it for now. We'll see what happens this time next year. Is like what I said on my show, is that we will see exactly where he's at next year, what he's greenlit, what he's done. If he greenlits a bunch of reboots and a bunch of crap, like if the Superman movie comes out and he's recasted everybody, then we'll see the red flags as they come.
Yeah, if they don't bring Amy Adams back as Lois Lane, that'll be a big red flag for me.
Why are people saying she's a bad Lois? Like, she's a great Lois.
She's a great
Lois. There was nothing wrong.
She was fantastic. I like her.
I gotta
tell him, Anthony.
Amy Adams is fire, as I was saying.
Seriously.
She's so good. I do have a question though for the panel, real quick.
She's my mommy.
Let me ask you guys: do you think the Garcias or The Rock knew about this decision before this weekend?
I'd imagine so.
I would hope so.
Now, Mr. Listen to the Fans, Dwayne Johnson, do you think he knew about this for the week, knowing that he has his finger to the pulse, or claims to have his finger to the pulse of controversial shit out there when it comes to stuff? Remember the teaser that got dropped with the little bit of Justice League in it? Fixed. Hey, everybody, check it out. Fixed.
Yeah.
And that wasn't even nowhere near as controversial as this choice. Think he knew about that shit before this weekend?
I think he did. I think that I don't know about Danny being a part of those conversations because
it's
she's
possible.
just representation for
But
the
has
actor.
he made a comment about it yet? Has he said anything about
Nope.
it?
Not a damn thing. Not a
And
congratulations.
so that's why, exactly. And so it kind of seems like if he would have known
maybe
about
he
this,
didn't.
maybe
because if he would have known, he would have said something immediately, like, "Hey,
well,
congratulations to you guys."
You saw Jay Oliva congratulate him publicly, right? So, like, where was Dwayne's at, or any? Because look, that camp has been hardcore on DC this entire weekend. Obviously, they had a movie dropping; they had to do what they had to do, right?
Right.
So where's everybody else's?
I know I didn't send one.
Yo, look. If I don't know how Dwayne feels about that cat. I don't know how any of those people in that camp feel about James Gunn.
Right.
I'll be interested to know because I would like to, as this news comes out, hear because look, this whole entire weekend they've been pushing DC films for just hardcore. Here's Henry back dropping his Instagram video yesterday, just fire shit, and then all of a sudden, bam!
All of a sudden,
Has Henry been on Instagram like congrats James Gunn or any of these cats, any of these people? Have they, with this movie just dropping this weekend on Tuesday, you bounce this news out here, knowing what just came out this weekend? Like DC fans are on a fucking most DC. I say most because some of them out there still being clowns, but most DC fans are like, "Yo, Henry's back." Yes, yes, as I was, yes,
as I was as well.
Let's fucking go.
Wasn't too hyped about the John Williams thing.
But none of them have. Now, they could tomorrow. Tomorrow, they could bounce out. You might see it all over social media. Them saying, hey, congrats, James, whatever.
Yeah.
But the fact that movie came out this weekend, they're riding this wave right now, right?
Yeah.
It's the #1 movie in the world, if I'm not mistaken, as far as like box office and shit. So this big news that literally 1,000% affects that movie that just came out in the future of set characters, none of them have said anything yet. I rest my case.
Well, I mean, again, dude, Toby Emmerich and fucking Walter Hamada were the ones that brought James Gunn over from Disney after
like
Disney
I said,
fucking let him go.
I think he has a good point, though. I mean, why wouldn't they come out and say something unless? I mean, what if the Rock felt like Hiram Garcia had a clear shot at this job? And it didn't go to him, and he was like,
hey, we got you, Dwayne. You know what we'll do? We'll put Henry in your movie. Oh, got you, man. That shut him up for a second, didn't it? All right. Hey, go ahead and drop the James
What's
Gunn
up,
news.
Rel? He's all, I can't lie. I was high, now I'm feeling low.
That having Hiram as the head of DC would have been
I don't know that.
like
I'm
you
not
know
gonna say
I mean
that.
because then the Rock's like, okay, well shit, I've got I got my ear, I got Hiram's ear, so I could pretty much do whatever the fuck I want to in this universe. So maybe that's just them saying, hey, you don't really have that access.
But I mean, at least if Hiram Garcia was in that position, you know everything that you're seeing so far that's happening with the Rock's team. You know what I mean?
No.
Like that's the stuff that would be happening. I know it's done double. There we go.
But no, it would be interesting though because the press tour for Black Adam is done. The Rock said it. I saw his Instagram post. He was getting on his plane. He's like finally done after so many days or whatever. So like, there's not an instance in the next week where somebody will be live with him on some type of interview stage and say, "Hey, so what do you think about James Gunn taking?" Like nobody can ask him that question to get like a real response. Right now. I mean, I don't, like I said, tomorrow they all can come out and be like, congrats, James Gunn. They might get emails. They might get emails from said people tonight. And they're like, yo, y'all need to come out and say something about this tomorrow. Say we like it or something. And then tomorrow you see The Rock like, hey, congrats to my man, James, or whatever the case may be.
But why hasn't he done it yet?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Let's just drop this afternoon, though.
It doesn't matter. I mean, Jay Oliva
didn't take Jay Oliva that long.
Well, yeah, but he's already working at the computer. The Rock he's busy. He's doing
he's
the
done.
Rock stuff.
He's done though. He's at the house.
He's a storyboard artist, right?
He's at the house looking at his box office.
Well, what do you know? He's just a storyboard artist.
He's the director.
No, what I'm saying is,
by the way, those scoopers are gonna get shot down every time they make bullshit up by James Gunn.
I'm just saying. Look, he's at his
That's a
house.
good point, too.
That's what I'm loving.
He's looking at the
most.
numbers. He's looking at the numbers, bro. The Rock is at the crib looking at the numbers. He's not. I guarantee he's seen it. You can't tell me he hadn't seen it, or Henry, or any of the Garcia.
Somebody
Anybody
had to have called him or told him.
because his camp has been
Skyped
mad loud
him.
this entire weekend, and they
You
had a movie.
got him
Hey,
on a
Dude,
Zoom call.
They've been on full alert, like full court press by his people, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh, we brought in Gunn and Safron. Like, whoa!
I wouldn't be surprised about that.
There
I
you
think
there you go, Rel.
social media will be crazy, but I don't think it'll be that crazy because I think I fully on expect that dude ain't going nowhere. So I don't.
The director. But no, I think that honestly, I feel like they should keep Ezra Miller and they really should bring this core of the Justice League and keep them together as long as they possibly can. And the same goes for Ben Affleck as Batman. I mean, we're all huge fans of his Batman and knowing that he's going to be in the Flash, knowing that he's going to be in Aquaman. They should really keep the core together. And we've been saying this for a long time.
Probably true.
Exactly, Alejandro.
I
Exactly.
agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with this one.
Yeah, probably true.
Yeah.
Because
Could be.
boy, oh boy, yeah. Look, man, and the dude. You can say what you want when he talks about listening to fans. That dude be seeing some social media shit, and he has people who probably tell him every time. If he would have stepped out at 7:30 p.m. tonight and said, "Yo, congrats to the man, James," clap. The same thing that's happened already on social media today. Once that announcement came out and that news, people have been talking about James Gunn's history in his past. So that would have came and look, we've seen The Rock in the past probably 7 years, as far as even when it comes to Black Adam talk, which he started talking about that a while back, and other stuff that's happened. That dude will fucking literally smooth slide from any of that kind of talk.
Yeah.
Any kind of thing like that starts coming out. Oh, so you support the pedo? That dude he ain't even gonna put himself in that position to get even. Maybe that's the case. I don't know.
And you know what? That very well could be the case. Like,
Yeah.
hey, look, this is still like as creative, and as talented as he is. This is still a controversial move because I don't want to be associated with somebody that's looked
at in this manner.
Is being looked at or is in a light
Things of that nature.
And things of that nature. Thank you. Of being a pedophile. You know what I mean? Like that's not something that you wanted to be a part of. And so maybe he's strategizing about how he's going to approach this, or kind of let the fans speak and say what they want to say today, and then tomorrow, the next day, come out and make a statement. But to me, it has to be by tomorrow. I mean, like at this point, The Rock is become like this big figurehead of DC, and for him not to acknowledge it, it's a little sus.
If these are the people who are going to be making decisions on his movies going forward, he has to say something.
I agree.
Because if these people are in charge of DC going forward, that means his movies, he has to make some type of. I don't know how big the statement has to be. He just had to say something along with Henry Cavill, because they make the decisions on his movies going forward, along with the Garcias, because while they are just The Rock's representation, they've been on talking about how hard they fought for 6 years to get Henry in this movie. So they probably have an opinion as well. I'm not saying their opinion is as important as Dwayne Johnson's or Henry Cavill's or whatever, but at the same time, it's kind of up there. It's considering how vocal they've been in the past 7 days. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. As far
It's going to be, and Andre has a good sort of synopsis of what DC will be. Go ahead. You know what I'm talking about.
Marvel with an edge. That's it. That's what it's gonna be. Like, we swear, we say the F word, and we show blood and guts in a ridiculous way.
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm calling it the pedoverse, pretty much. I'm sorry.
Oh, hey.
Clip that, and yeah, I'm calling that.
No shit.
I'm calling it that. I don't give a fuck.
I mean, it's a bold statement. I'll give you that.
Yeah.
And look, man, real quick, just my shit is pretty split. I don't know what, and I know a lot of people out there think that qualifications don't mean anything. I don't know what qualifies him for this job. I know people can name a lot of stuff, The only movie of his that I've really dug was Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one. When it comes to that, the rest of his stuff, I've watched it all. I've watched. So basically, we're getting tired.
We're getting tired. Fuck.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh God.
I remember
every show has to have fucking
with the pterodactyl scream and shit.
But I mean, if you look at like James Gunn, you know, his Suicide Squad movie, you know, when they ran, when they went into the movie sucked. But when they went into that camp, and I think it was there was some dude either jacking off or fucking some other dude or something. It's gonna be shit like that, dude. It's like how can you have the pedo comments and be like, no, that's not what we're about, but then go and turn around and do just like fucking saturate with sexuality and shit like that in a fucking.
That is why. I do not give James Gunn a pass. Like I know he spoke out like saying, "Oh, I'm a different person."
It's bullshit.
Bull fucking shit. You have not changed one bit. I'm sorry. Even though I don't speak for him, he has. I don't think he's changed. He's still making that same shit.
I mean, all they did was fucking color his hair white, gave him a fucking KFC or Colonel Sanders
Wi-Fi
beard, and give him a hot fucking blonde wife, and say, "There's no way this guy could do that. Look at him."
No, and Twin Rivers is right. He's not directing every movie.
No, he's not directing every movie.
Yeah. But the thing is that you're talking about a James Gunn directed movie where he got total creative freedom, right?
Yeah.
But now we're talking about him doing this for DC Studios. I don't believe that we're going to be getting every movie with sexual jokes and dicks and all that stuff. I think that's just his style. I hope not either, because I don't want to see that shit.
Right.
I don't like that Aquaman is being called a fish fucker. Like that's not.
And I don't like how Wonder Woman is being treated as like a sexual object. Like when Zach used Wonder Woman, she was badass. She was respected as like character, and now like. I haven't seen Peacemaker. I don't want to. Don't ask me to. But I saw that clip where he says, "Oh, have you met Wonder Woman?" And he says, "Yeah, I effed whatever from the room." I'm like, really?
Yeah.
I didn't watch the show, so I can't comment on that.
It was a good show. It surprised me. Okay, I said it before. I'm a fan of Peacemaker.
You're a fan.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
You got a Peacemaker helmet.
But the Suicide Squad, I'm not too big of a fan of. I just thought it was really corny. Some of the
complete misuse of Stallone.
Yeah, some of the cinematography I liked, like some of the shots, like when Harley was having her shootout scene, and there were some things that were cool about it, but a lot of it I was not a huge fan of.
Yeah,
that was my main thing with the movie, is that there were some shots I thought were interesting, but other than that, I'm just like, what is this?
Well, let's do this. Let's go around the horn real quick, and let's answer this question when it comes to James Gunn. Which film will James Gunn direct next within the DC universe?
Nothing. I'm sorry. Yeah, go on.
He's going to direct something.
Yeah, I know.
Suicide Squad sequel.
Yeah. I think that's the safest bet.
Yeah.
Because if you're telling me that he's going to get Superman, then I'm going to get pissed.
Ain't no way.
Well, no, he passed on.
No
Superman.
way.
He already, but that was when he wasn't the head of DC, and maybe now he's like, hey,
but here's the thing:
he
was pressured to do Superman from Toby Emmerich, and he refused. So now that nobody's pressuring him, he's going to do the ones that he wants to do. So I agree with Taylor. He's probably going to do like a Suicide Squad sequel, or like expand some like the Suicide Squad characters in his own.
Yeah, like his brother's character, the Weasel.
And it's like,
and the Calendar Man.
I mean, look at the thing he's doing with Marvel. He did the Guardians of the Galaxy. They're very much an outlier type of character in the comics, and then he made them sort of like more mainstream. He's probably going to do the exact same thing with DC with the Suicide Squad.
Another property that he could do that with, and it would fit in line with the Guardians. It would fit in line with fucking Suicide Squad. Would be the Green Lantern Corps.
I don't see that. That's more serious.
It's actually when you go out there and you fucking dealing with aliens and shit, just like Guardians of the Galaxy. They can say, hey, you know what? We don't want to take a serious approach to this. There's a lot of obscure aliens.
Then that'd be too similar to Guardians.
But here's the thing, though, is that the Green Lanterns, they're like, obviously, this is very much an oversimplification. They're space police. Whereas Guardians of the Galaxy, they're more like space pirates that do good sometimes. So there's a big
right.
difference
I'm not
there.
saying it's like for like. I'm not saying it's apples to apples.
I know, but I think,
it's the same. It's a very similar genre. It's a very similar. It wouldn't be outside of his wheelhouse to do an ensemble cast like that, and then deal with Red Lanterns, Blue Lanterns, and all that kind of shit, and just try to bring in some quirky alien shit as well, and throw some sexual jokes in there because it's normally what he does. I mean, I'm just saying I wouldn't be fucking sure if he took that on, because who has taken on the Green Lantern Corps since Ryan Reynolds' fucking movie?
See, I don't know. I just don't think that he wants to touch the Green Lantern Corps, because again, it is a different vibe, and I think he understands that. I mean, I don't necessarily like trust a lot of things he does as a director, but I think he at least understands that that's more of a serious thing. Because Guardians of the Galaxy, you had to make it more gimmicky in order to get it to be like front and center, right? You couldn't just make it be like a serious group of these heroes.
The Suicide Squad could be a serious, and that could be serious. I mean, David Ayer's Suicide Squad is serious, but he turned it quirky. So,
sure, but again, Suicide Squad is more obscure to the general audience, whereas the Green Lantern Corps is not as obscure.
The audience, okay, I'll say that that's the best point that you've made, is that the audience is different. The audience for Green Lantern Corps is more broad, and the Suicide Squad is just a little bit more niche.
Yes.
Like the Suicide Squad I feel like it tried to be too much like the Expendables and Tropic Thunder.
And Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, and that too. It was basically R-rated Guardians.
Yeah, look, we have to wait and see what actually is produced. I mean, look,
right.
There's been all these rumors flying around lately that even that Ben Affleck has signed on for 3 more pictures, and which I don't think is true.
I'd be shocked if he got 1. Now cameos, sure, they're easy. If he cameoed as Bruce Wayne, that's just him in a suit.
Yeah,
that's easy. But them actually having a costume fitting and bringing him, back in as Batman or whatever, I would say that's maybe for a couple different, projects or whatever. I would say the person that has the most stands to get the most exposure is going to be Henry.
Yeah, Henry will get a lot more focus. He'll get more movies. Ben Affleck, I don't see it as likely. But
I mean, like, we know that Batman or Ben Affleck is going to be in the Flash. He's going to be in Aquaman. Yep. It wouldn't surprise me if they found a way to integrate Henry Cavill Superman, into Aquaman in the Lost Kingdom. He's probably going to be in the Flash. I think it's all but confirmed that he's going to be in the Flash at this point. And obviously, yes, he was just in Black Adam. So speaking of Black Adam, okay, let's switch gears just a bit. I mean, guys, we've all had a chance to see Black Adam. You guys have all seen it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, okay, so let's talk about Black Adam. Look, I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was entertaining, but I felt like narratively it was very shallow. It was the story did not have very much depth to it, and I felt like a lot of it was missing. I mean, we know that like the Iron Man scene of him flying and hitting that jet, that whole scene was cut out. So it makes you wonder what other scenes were cut out of this movie and how long it was actually going to be at one point. Mm-hmm. But overall, though, I mean, I'm still kind of sitting at like a 6.5 out of 10. It was fun, but I just thought it was a little shallow when it came to the story, because I think that when you're trying to, relaunch this DC brand, I felt like story is very, very important in developing this universe. But I felt like this movie's had a very weak story.
I would give it the exact same rating you did, but for a different reason. Like you, it was a fun movie, action-packed. I feel like Dwayne Johnson did a pretty decent job as Black Adam. He didn't ruin the movie for me, which is what I hoped for, right? He's not the best actor out there. I just hoped that he wouldn't ruin the character for me, and he didn't. But don't
say he's a bad actor. He's right there. He's gonna whoop your ass.
No, but my biggest problem with the Black Adam movie was the dialogue. I felt like the story was an okay idea. It's just they didn't execute it very well because the dialogue was weak. I felt like a lot of the characters were underdeveloped, and their dialogue was just very one-dimensional and flat and kind of dry. I feel like the JSA wasn't criminally underdeveloped, Very much so. And like you didn't learn jack squat about Atom Smasher. The only thing he said about how he operates
Henry Winkler was his dad. Come on now.
Uncle.
That was
No,
awesome. That was an awesome
right.
cameo.
That was great.
Barry Zuckerman.
Well, like the only thing you learned about him and how his
Fun.
powers work is that he says, "I grow." That's all he says, right? You don't learn anything else. Like even just like a small explanation. Like for instance, Cyclone. She explained she was kidnapped when she was 15, injected with these nanobots, and now she has these powers. Okay, fair enough. That was a decent enough explanation. Made me sort of care about her and make her sort of sympathetic. I'm like, oh man, it's terrible that happened to you. Atom Smasher, we got no such courtesy. We got no such small, brief explanation as how the suit works, who wore, like, where the suit before did with it. You know, nothing like that. So very much underdeveloped. The kid Ammon, every time he was on screen, I rolled my eyes so hard.
Okay, let's
Get
talk
out
about
of that kid.
Let's talk about the kid. He was in this movie way too fucking much. I mean, in the beginning on the skateboard with the van, I was like, "Yeah, that's fine, whatever." But as the movie went on, I was like, "Okay, this is just way too much kid." And at that point, I was like, "Dude, this is not a Disney movie." You know what I mean? Like, we
I
don't
will be
need
clear,
to
though.
have
I wanna
that
be
much
clear.
of him in that.
I want to be clear, though. I don't blame the kid actor. I blame the writing.
Yeah.
They tried to make him the... What's the crippled kid's name in Shazam?
The Hot. That's the movie. Freddie.
Yeah, they tried to make him the Freddy of Kahndaq, is what they tried to do,
Call
and
him
they
the
did not
crippled
succeed.
kid.
I couldn't remember his name.
Oh, you
sorry.
can't say that.
You just
I mean, how else do I describe him?
You don't say that.
But, yeah, they
Disabled?
tried to make
No, you
him
can't say
a Black Adam's version of Freddy. And the dialogue was just not there. I mean, he kept saying, "Oh, you can be the hero of Kahndaq, you can free us," and like all these things, 1,000 miles an hour,
I
line
agree
after
with
line, and it just didn't work. And then,
Holy shit, Taylor! Really? What are you doing over there?
I'm trying to find.
Doritos.
These are this is the backstory.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, you got a bag of chips over there? What's going on?
I'm trying to find
It's like, this is Cool Ranch.
but also
I'm
like
trying to open my Tostitos.
the shot in the
This
movie
is
that
all
I
the backstory.
despised the most in Black Adam was when the kid was trying to rally the people of Kahndaq. His delivery wasn't there. The dialogue was bad. But then he doesn't have a skateboard in that scene. But all of a sudden, he's riding in the streets on a skateboard, and his head's like gliding over cars with this like smirk on his face, leading the people of Kahndaq.
Yeah.
I was so confused. Am I supposed
That's
to
so
laugh
cheesy.
at this? Is this supposed to be inspirational?
I thought that,
what am I
like-
supposed to feel?
The zombies that came to life and they fought.
Trash.
That was like I would have cut that shit out. Like, dude, cut that
Regular
shit
people from
out.
people from Kahndaq could beat them using pipes.
Pipes.
You tell me they're supposed to conquer the world? You
Wesley
freaking
Pipes.
kidding me?
Bro.
Alejandro's right. He's the John Connor of the Black Adam universe.
You know what was worse in the movie? The uncle. I could not stand him. He
didn't bother me that much.
He's like-
I mean, he
wasn't
wasn't died.
He wasn't
Like,
that
he got
bad. He
shot.
wasn't that bad.
He got shot in the belly. He didn't die.
Yeah, I wish he died. I know I sound cruel,
God
but like
damn.
I wish he
Calm down,
died.
Axel.
I know,
No,
right?
I'm sorry.
So
but, like,
he didn't bother
he's
me
that
too much,
annoying.
but like some of the things, and
It
look,
bothered me
like,
a lot less than I expected it.
So the most or the biggest thing that bothered me with the film, and I like the film. I actually give it maybe a 7, out of 10 because I think it's a fun movie. It's enjoyable. It does have narrative flaws and it does have dialogue
yes,
issues.
it does.
But
Yeah.
the biggest thing that kind of pulled me out was the mixing of the soundtrack.
Yeah,
and
bothered me a lot.
there were a couple of spots in there where I was like, what? Why do we have orchestra here? Or why is it so pronounced? Or
Paint
like
it black.
what the hell? It didn't fit. And then the song choices, like what he was listening to, the uncle was listening to in his van, Paint It Black.
Paint It Black to me was like, why is this playing
that
right
felt
now?
so out of
I
place.
mean, all
My
that stuff.
thing
It
with
just
Paint It
it
Black-
really took me out of the experience of the film.
To me, it was too
that's
soon.
What I didn't like.
My thing
Exactly.
with Paint It Black was during the beginning part of that fight where Black Adam wakes up, they had the orchestra playing the chord progression of Paint It Black. And I sat there in the theater thinking, okay, that's nice and subtle. I like that. It makes sense. But then they go full on into the song. I'm like, okay, all subtlety is gone.
There we go.
Yeah.
Also, I will say, I think this movie also had a hard time handling suspense. For instance, when Black Adam first wakes up and he's fighting that army of the Inner Gang, and all of a sudden he goes in like super speed mode, and he's just like able to change the trajectory of missiles and like avoid all these
He
things.
puts the grenade in that guy's mouth.
Yeah, so like he's doing all these things super fast, right? And then at the end of the movie, when the guy who becomes Sabak tries to shoot at Ammon, and all of a sudden like it goes in slow motion, it's supposed to feel suspenseful, right? We already know Black Adam's fast enough to stop that bullet. All the suspense that scene would have had was completely gone because we knew, oh, he's going to get it. It's fine.
Yeah.
There was no tension.
Well, again, and then another thing to add on to that is another sequence which was really sort of a waste of time was when they, when he was Teth Adam and they put him in that water cell or whatever.
Yes,
yeah, the back
thank
tank.
you.
The back tank. They put the respirator on his mouth, and it's just like, okay, we're gonna put you away, and here you are, and then oh no, we need you, so come right back out. And then not only that, you're a regular human that can beat the fuck out of these guys. You're not fucking Black Adam, but you're beating the shit out of these dudes, and you're all fucking, you got this respirator still, and when you're not, when you don't have the powers of the champion, you're just a regular guy, and you haven't used your human muscles, we'll say. So how the fuck are you beating the shit out of these people? And then you're floating up from, however deep. Still no fucking powers. It seemed it was just a lot for me to say, okay, the suspension of disbelief is just not working.
And doesn't he turn into an old man when he's fucking not Black Adam?
I think in certain versions he does in the comics. I think though, one thing that I did like, but there was a couple things I liked from the movie though. I love the suit, both iterations of it. I thought the suit looked great. I like the suit actually in the flashbacks, where it's more like a tunic and all of that. I liked how that looked. The Rock looked ripped in that scene, by the way. Holy crap.
Anthony, I meant The Rock looked good. Yeah.
I liked a lot of the action. The action was pretty well done. They had some interesting ways of displaying flight, which I thought was nice and unique. It was refreshing. I liked the design of basically the tomb. I thought that was really nice. I mean, there's things to like about this movie.
No, there was definitely things to like.
A flawed one.
Exactly, definitely flawed. Okay, so call me nitpicking because I know Anthony did, and it wasn't nitpicking. But look, they drive up in the van so they're trying to get to the tomb, right? And she's like, "Oh yeah, it's located out in the desert, whatever." She had no coordinates. They just kind of drive out there, pull up to a fucking a random mountain out in the desert. They get out. Next scene, they're inside the tomb, like with their flashlights and shit, right? And I'm just like, wait a minute, how'd they get inside there? You're telling me that these fucking people, thousands of years ago, 5,000 years ago, made a tomb for him, and then they were like, oh, should we seal the door? Nah, it's fine, don't worry about it.
There was definitely a lot of things cut from this movie, for sure.
Like they just walk straight in, apparently. And then not only that, but inside the tomb, you have like daylight shining through like little crevices. And not to mention, they look up at one point, and there was a big fucking hole on the top of the room. I'm like, wait a minute, so you tell me no one's come down here? Like, what the fuck? So that was a little weird. I was like, okay. And there was some other narrative things too, like the boy had that fucking desk that would would fold up and turn to a ladder that he would like escape from his room. I'm like,
oh, that was kind of creative.
But it was kind of like, did he build that? Like, what the fuck happened there? I was like,
and then he used it like what 2 or 3 times.
Yeah,
he went up and down. Fucking.
I was like, is this?
He was like another character in the movie.
Watching here?
But
yeah, they definitely used him way too much, especially for narration. I will say also the sort of like plot twist, I want to say with quotations, where it's like, oh, Black Adam was actually the champion's father. It was very obvious from the very get-go, like, because they gave it away in the trailer, right? He's like, my son sacrificed his life to save mine.
They gave it away in the trailer.
And then also in the very beginning, like, the father's looking away, but it's obviously Dwayne Johnson's head.
That's his face.
Yeah, so I'm just like,
I mean, you could tell, and it was good.
Yeah.
But the thing I'm hoping for,
his body or his head on the small body, very good. I was surprised.
Very good. But what I'm hoping for is for Jaimin Aslun's character to have a third
Digimon Hansu.
Yeah. Digimon. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Digimon. So if he's like, no, actually he's not what he told you he is, and the JLA has some information, but I know firsthand why we took his powers from him or why we entombed him or whatever, and this is why. And maybe he tells, what's his face, Billy Batson in Shazam 2, because he's in that as well. Maybe he tells him a little bit more about Black Adam or whatever. So hopefully there's a third story, and hopefully I still want The Rock to be a fucking villain. I don't want him to be this damn whatever the fuck he is.
Here's my biggest problem with the movie, though. At the end of the day, my biggest problem is that Black Adam is a villain. mostly a villain. And at the end of this movie, they made him out to be a hero and a good guy. And so at the end of this movie, I was like, I don't see him as a villain anymore. How is he going to be a villain to Shazam? So apparently he's not going to be. I thought this was going to end with him saying, saying basically that he's going to go after the next champion, which is Shazam. But he never did that.
I imagine what happens there. What I imagine that happens there is that the wizard, or the wizard's still there, right? He's still around, right?
He's alive in the Shazam 2 trailer.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I was trying to remember, but what I imagine happens is that the wizard still doesn't trust Black Adam, and so he convinces Shazam to go and fight him, and then the Black Adam just sees it as a threat to Kahndaq, and therefore that's where the fight kind of begins. Probably like sort of like a miscommunication or misunderstanding type of thing.
So like a BVS.
What always happens with these.
BVS. And then
yeah.
Who's Doomsday? Superman?
Yeah.
Okay. So Anthony, I know you got to go, but let me ask you, do you think that the cameo at the end, did you enjoy it, or do you think it was, what were your thoughts on it?
I thought it was fire.
Yeah.
I've already said that. I said it before it happened. I don't give a damn what the fucking music is, what kind of suit he has on. Henry Cavill back in the scene is absolute fire. I got that, so can't complain there.
Yep.
Yeah. There you go.
And even this here, I mean, this was badass.
That
and
is
it's a real suit.
The Man of Steel suit.
Yes,
Man did a comparable on it. Just for fuck's sake. It's on Twitter. All they did was it's
I just sent you a high def one, Andre.
It's just saturated.
Okay. Yeah, so. And that I'm fine with, because I love the Man of Steel suit. So like, if it's a little more saturated, then fine.
Yeah.
My thing with it's actually funny. At the very end of Black Adam, my viewing, I had to pee so bad.
Oh wow!
I sprinted to the bathroom, went, and came back just in time for the Henry Cavill scene. I was so pissed off. I thought I was going to miss it.
That's a great shot of it. Holy crap!
I'm sorry. The yellow on his I commented on a while ago, but it looks like hamburger cheese. The yellow.
And honestly,
I mean, from this photo, it does.
It didn't bother me at all.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me, but from this photo, it does. I mean, in the final movie, it looks fine.
Yeah. And so I was very happy to see that. Just happy to see him in the suit in general was really awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, look, and I know they use the John Williams theme, but I mean, in order to make it work for that scene, I think it was fine. Are they going to use that scene moving forward? I don't know, but I would imagine if they did use that theme moving forward, it's going to be a remastered version of that that's going to fit and embody the movie that he's going to be in moving forward. We heard or we saw Hiram Garcia making comments saying that, what is it, Dawn of Hope? So people are saying, maybe that's the name of the next movie that's coming out would be Superman Dawn of Hope. I mean, I honestly don't think so, but I mean, I thought this was amazing just to see him come back and be in the suit. And it was unbelievable to see this.
My take on the music of it, though, is obviously I want them to keep the Man of Steel theme. I love the Man of Steel theme. I think for this scene in particular and how it was shot, I think the Williams theme chord progression worked for this scene. I have a hard time seeing where the Zimmer theme could work in the scene for the tone that it was. So I was fine with that. Again, I hope they continue with the Man of Steel theme as his main theme, but having like hints of that theme, the Williams theme, I don't mind it.
Yeah, no, it didn't bother me at all. Also, I mean, we already knew it was kind of going to be there.
Yeah.
So, but Anthony, I know you have to go. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
All right,
later, man.
Hey, man.
And let everyone know where they can find you.
At 2279 ACS. It's right there. Add an underscore after Twitter, but yeah.
Because Twitter hates him.
They do. Still. All right, so.
See you, man.
Later, man.
See ya.
Okay, so we know that he's back, right? This is a great shot. Thank you for providing that, Taylor. But now the other question is that where do we go from here? I mean, we saw the video. In fact, let me go ahead and pull that up real quick. Here is. Oh no, I moved off of it. Shoot,
Oh.
hold on. I had a good one too. Hold on. So I have it right here. Let's see, is it back one, back two? There it is. Let's see right here. Okay, so here's a video. This is from Allie Brooks, crying, happy, and here is that video. Let me see. Hold on. Of course, I did not share audio. Oh, man, it just fucks you over.
Man,
if
you
don't
are
hit
one
that.
pathetic loser.
Oh, like that.
Hey everyone, I wanted to wait until the weekend was over before posting this because I wanted to give you all a chance to watch Black Adam. But now that plenty of you have, I wanted to make it official that I am back as Superman. And the image you see on this post and what you saw in Black Adam are just a very small taste of things to come. So there's a lot to be thankful for, and I'll get to that in time. But I wanted to thank you guys most of all. Thank you for your support, and thank you for your patience. I promise it will be rewarded.
And there it is. I mean, and again, people out there, were speculating on the suit, and full transparency, that is a Man of Steel suit.
Yeah,
and I know Still had said that he heard it was a Man of Steel suit, so that's it. So I'll give him that. He got that right. I mean, that's the Man of Steel suit with just more yellow.
Yeah, I mean, it's honestly just the Man of Steel suit with just more polish. Like the other one, I just imagined that the Man of Steel suit was always just an old one that had been worn in years. That's why it was unsaturated. And one thing that's interesting about this that he talked about, of course, obviously from the fact that you just announced that you're back, is that he said, "Thank you for your patience. I promise it'll be rewarded." Now, to me, that doesn't say, "Oh, we're just going to completely reboot my character." No, exactly. It means you've been waiting to see the progression of my version of Superman. We're going to give that to you. So I have a hard time seeing Henry Cavill signing on to do something that completely erases his impact on the character in the version that a lot of people love and wanted to see back on the big screen.
Fuck Grace Randolph.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not going to lie. She does have a nice
listen to her.
wig.
She's an idiot.
She does have a nice wig.
Okay, so Taylor, where do we go from here? We know that Superman's going to be back. We know that hasn't signed a new contract yet, but I mean, he signed a one-off. I would imagine the one-off was signed with the intent that more was to come. And based on the statement, it sounds like more is coming.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you think? I mean, do you expect another Superman movie coming by like 2024?
I think they're probably going to fast track it, to be honest. I mean, Danny Garcia, Hiram Garcia, they want to maximize this brand as much as they can.
Yeah.
And Henry is like, Henry is Superman, and Superman is the most recognizable hero on the planet. So they know that they can't sit around and wait another 6 years because fans aren't going to have it.
Right.
So I fully expect them to be like, "Hey, James, hey, Peter, I know you guys just took the job yesterday, but let's sit down and make this happen." They're probably going to be harassing them next week. So I think they're going to fast track whatever they're going to do. I'm willing to bet that they have pictures ready. They have things ready to go. And we'll probably see a script and everything rolling by this time next year.
Dawson, awesome. You have an admirer in the chat?
Kinky, I swear.
But the other thing too is that, I mean, you kind of touched on this earlier today about the whole the speculation over Ben Affleck getting a trilogy as Batman. You said that's not true at all.
I had to delete that because people were harassing me about it.
Of course, because they're going to say, "Well, you said this, and you said that, and you said this," right?
Look, and I've said it before, and there's even people in the comment section right now. What's going on with Ben's Batman thing? And they're trying to get a rise out of me. I've said it dozens of times now. When I was on the Lightcast show, I was introduced to a source from Matt. Introduced me to a source. That source gave me some good info, and then proceeded to give me just a lot of trash. And I was misled, and I owned it a year ago when I debunked it myself. Mm-hmm. So people who keep holding on to it, okay, I'm upset because I was wrong, and I've admitted that I've been wrong dozens of times now. So That's why I got out of the scooping game. I've had no desire to move forward with scooping, but now that I've blocked that source out of my life, I still have other people I talk to, and realistically, everyone I've spoken to. I mean, I spoke to Daniel RPK this morning about this thing. Before I put the tweet out, I asked him flat out, what is going on with Ben? And he shot me a text flat out. I'm like, so has Ben signed a big new trilogy contract? Nope. That's all he sent me. Just a big old nope. So, and then Big Screen Leaks said the same thing. Ben didn't sign a thing. I've talked to a few other people. They all say the same thing. Ben is coming back to do the cameo stuff by request, but it doesn't mean he has a contract for films.
But I mean, at least we know that the current regime, at least, it would appear that they are embracing what's already been established. They're not trying to reboot. They're not trying to, create a new universe and wipe out something they don't like on this picture. That picture of Anthony, it is on Axel's screen.
Oh my gosh,
I love that. That's amazing.
but I mean, so I've been hearing so many rumors about, they might go for like a Kingdom Come storyline, which I don't think they can really do that. And the same with Final Crisis. Like if you actually read Final Crisis, like you can't exactly do that entire storyline. It wouldn't exactly apply.
Yeah,
no,
at least not this soon.
But I think that having Final Crisis in that picture, to me, it captures elements of what the story was going to be. And, we've been working on Project Justice League. And if you look at the story that he put out there, I mean, in Final Crisis, all the heroes get occupied. Like Hal Jordan gets arrested. They capture Batman, who tried to save him. All these heroes are being occupied or captured in some kind of way, and they're unable to stop Darkseid from doing what he wants to do. So I think element-wise, yeah, you could have something like that. But I saw a comment earlier saying that, could they, do the whole Darkseid invasion and kind of retcon the story that was originally put out there by Zach and sort of, realign it to what Zach was doing. I think it's possible, but I don't think that they're going to go back to a story that to me, they clearly want to do something different. They clearly want to do something that's got probably more color, more action based. I'm not sure, but
I think they want to do something that doesn't have anything attached to it. Any stank. They want to start out fresh. They want to do something that no one's thought of, in prior years. I think they just want to say, hey, you know what, we're going to move forward, and this can be our narrative. This is where we're going. This is what we're going to do. It's completely different from where we were going to go or where these characters were going to go. Because I mean, these people don't work for us anymore, so therefore we can do whatever the fuck we want.
Well, my only pushback on that is that, and that's not saying that I full on believe this, but I think this is a way you can think about it, is that Hollywood, especially right now, what is one thing they're trying so hard to do with every single thing out there? They're trying to milk nostalgia, milk things that are popular beforehand. So, of course, because writing creativity in Hollywood is becoming more and more sparse. And so I think they might rely on some things that have been established. Sparse, sorry. I don't know why I said sparse. Sparse.
I wasn't going to correct him. I was like, go right ahead.
Fair enough.
It's his niche.
But my thing is that I feel like they'll feel like they have to rely on some things that came before in order to keep people who loved what came before interested and invested and give them the feeling of, oh, I remember that. That flashes back to the thing that I know. Because that's all that Hollywood knows how to do anymore. So that'd be my only pushback to that narrative.
Well, look, I think that I mean, I lost my train of thought.
You're wrong, Dawson.
You're
and
wrong,
I'll tell you why.
Dawson. Yeah. Here's the thing.
Dawson, we got Dawson here.
At this point, it feels like they're just going to ride these characters out for as long as they can.
Mm-hmm.
And lead up to a crisis event. Now, the craziest thing that has been kind of talked about is that about Michael Keaton sticking around past the Flash movie, which
he's old.
I thought it was just going to be they were going to change it to just a one-off, and then he would stay in his own universe. But now it's sounding like he's going to stick around and be in the DC
I think they're
universe
just keeping him
forward.
on contract just in case. They're just, hey, we got you for these appearances. You've honored.
We got you.
What, 2 out of the 3 or 3 out of the 4 or whatever? Because he was in Aquaman 2 and the Flash, and then also in Batgirl. So he had 3 appearances. He fulfilled his obligations for those 3 appearances. I'm sure they were just like, hey, you know what? If we throw some more money at this guy, we can keep him for a little bit longer. I mean, the dude's 70 years old this year, so there's not many more appearances in the guy's belt before he can't really do it anymore. So
under his belt.
In his belt.
Okay.
In his bat belt.
In his bat belt.
I know. I was making fun of you for mocking.
There's capsules. There's all kinds of stuff.
I understand it.
It's a utility belt.
It's called a joke.
You're a Batman fan.
It's called a joke.
I understood it.
Anyway,
but I mean, that's basically where we're at now. I mean, now that we know that James Gunn and Safron are going to be, I'm sorry, Ryan.
I don't. You know what? I was super stoked yesterday with the Henry Cavill news. Now I don't give a fuck. I don't care anymore.
That's it. You're done.
I'm done. I don't care.
Wah, wah.
I'm
gonna watch the next 4 films that were, prior to James Gunn, and we'll see from there. But right now, after Aquaman 2, I'm done.
Well, I put this poll out earlier today just to get an idea. It got 660 votes, and I said, "Is the Snyderverse dead?" Just flat out.
What the fuck does that even mean?
Meaning, like, are we never going to get a chance to see Snyder's original story?
Oh, is that coming back?
No, that's
there's like a 10% chance he'll come back. Yeah, sure.
Well, based on here, people are still holding out hope that no, it's not dead.
Right. But there's only so many accounts that Integrity 101 can make.
I voted. I'm one of those people.
Well, okay. Integrity 102 is. Oh, here he is. Keaton should have no way home moment in the Flash. Oh, hold on, here he is.
He's old.
And there should lead back into the universe for a Batman Beyond film that concludes his run. That'd be cool. I actually agree with you with
Jesse.
this
you're
one.
Such an ass, dude.
I don't care. He knows.
No, Jesse Allen.
Oh,
well,
40.9% people think it's like a thing.
No, because earlier when I had the poll up, I had my DM little bar open, and so he sent a message saying, "What did he say?" He said, "He was like, here's the nude pics, or here's your nude pics."
What the fuck?
Well, he knows that's what Andre is doing at nights.
Yeah, as soon as it's over, that's what I do. My OnlyFans account. Okay,
no, we actually had a joke. One of my editors said that he wants to open an OnlyFans account, but he wants it to be like really wholesome stuff, so like just him sitting with a cup of coffee on a couch and just being like no nudity, just like really wholesome, like background quality. Like just these are stock images that I made for myself.
That'd be hilarious. I'd be curious to see how successful that one would be.
I think it would be hilarious. I think people would. I think, in theory, people would go for it.
Okay, so another thing I wanted to bring up was the concept of I'm going to boycott and not watch Black Adam, and I want every film after this to fail. And we know Ryan is now officially on that train.
I'm not boycotting. I'm not gonna sit there and go out and pick it and be like, yeah, fuck James Gunn because he had some shit.
But I mean, it just feels like now that James Gunn is there, some of the energy that some had towards DC has really gone down. That they're just like, I don't care. I don't want anything. I mean, we saw some hardcore Snyder fans completely, disavow DC. Like, I'm done with DC. I'm not a fan anymore. This is ridiculous.
That's fine. That's not boycotting either.
Well, but here's the thing now. We've all talked about it in different forms of fashion that, some people want to see these projects fail. But at the same time, it's like, if you support these projects, the chances of getting what you want, in my opinion, are bigger than if you let it crash and burn, fail.
Of course, at the same time though, I completely understand like being burnt out, like For instance, when I walked out of the theater of Thor: Love and Thunder, I felt incredibly burnt out of Marvel entirely. I was like,
bad
like,
movie, though. I was just like,
I don't want to
God.
see anything like that ever again. It's like the Tom Cruise clip, you know. I don't ever want to see it again, ever. You know, so I understand that feeling absolutely.
I don't ever want to see it again. Ever.
There you go.
There it is. Oh God.
Yeah, you got to see it.
You got to see it.
You got to see it.
But no, but that's the thing is that by hoping that these projects fail, all that's going to lead to is them saying, okay, reboot the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, exactly. I mean, what happened with Star Wars? I mean, I keep bringing this example up because it's a fantastic example of how boycotting fails. Everyone was pissed at The Last Jedi because it was The Last Jedi. And so they boycotted.
Why did you say that name?
We don't talk about The Last Jedi on this channel.
So they boycotted Solo, and then in so doing, they killed all of the spin-off movies from there on.
I think Andor is a better version of Solo.
Yeah, I think so too.
I did definitely enjoy Solo, but I definitely see your point, Taylor, because they had a lot of things in the works. Like the Kenobi movie was going to be coming out, and they were going to actually have it be a condensed movie rather than the drawn out show that we got.
And
plus, we were going to see Darth Maul. We were going to see Darth Maul.
Yeah,
he was in the end credit scene or the ending. I was like, well, whatever happened to that?
Point of that was.
But didn't he do something with his wife or some shit?
Yeah, the actor Ray Park.
Yeah.
And look,
I actually saw the post when that happened online.
In integrity, look, I'm not saying it's like, look, I don't know that he's going to embrace Snyderverse. I mean, like it would make sense to all of us, but I don't know if he's going to. I don't speak for David Zaslav. I don't know what the fuck he's doing. And nobody saw this coming. I mean, come on.
Because like here's my point to this: is that Toby Emmerich and Walter Hamada had a lot of reasons to restore the Snyderverse too, right? They could have redeemed themselves, but they didn't. So it comes to a point where you can't predict what studio heads want with a universe, regardless of what they say, right? You just don't know what they're trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, sometimes the the clear option that you believe just makes the most sense is completely not on their radar,
right?
You know, and they're just like, no, we've got this. We know what we're doing. We're not going to listen to anybody, you know, other than The Rock. He'll listen to the fans, but we're not going to do that because that's weak.
That's weak.
Your magic is weak.
Your magic is weak.
That was the only time he weakness.
That was his best line in the movie. That's okay. Sorry, I don't want to circle back. But like that's another thing I had an issue with Black Adam is that nobody had like an Egyptian accent in the movie that was noticeable. And Black Adam went from saying that one line in his native tongue to just speaking English.
He's there.
I thought that was because of the magic. The magic helped him translate, just like the Green Lantern or the
That's
ring.
mental gymnastics, so they never said that.
Yeah, they never established that as a possibility.
You would hope. Although
I just figured that out because you know of my magic.
I did like his how he'd walk through walls like.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah. And I liked how he was hovering. You know,
reminds me of that scene from Invincible.
That was cool.
Hawkman, I thought was great.
Floating in the air.
I love Dr. Fate, and
Dr. Fate was dope.
Hawkman and Dr. Fate were good, but they were also very underdeveloped. I mean, Dr. Fate sacrificed
I'm sorry, but like
Dr. Fate sacrificed the end held no weight because we barely knew him.
Right. Well, this was like a
sort
of
I just wish he
mishmash
didn't
of
die.
a whole bunch of shit thrown together. It was a collage of a bunch of characters that, you know, they really didn't like dive deep into who is Black Adam. You know, what did he do back then? It was just sort of like, oh, he fought a king with the triangles, and that was it. And it was glossed over. So there wasn't really much of a story there. There is a story there, but they didn't care about the story because they were like, this other story that we want to tell is so much better. But it wasn't really so much of a story, like Andre pointed out earlier. It was very surface level. I mean, I want to say even a child, you know, could follow the story and be like, yeah, no, I get it. But I mean, it lacked depth. It lacked any sort of, you know, good storytelling, you know, that could translate on the screen. It was just like, and the worst part of the fucking narrative was like, what does it take to be a hero? What does it mean to be a hero?
Yeah.
Who's, you know, and I was like, dude, you gotta quit hammering that shit in. because all you're doing is trying to fucking throw this whole, why is Keaton a better Batman than fucking Affleck? Right. That's all it is.
I mean, even the whole thing about heroes don't kill people. It was kind of like
you gotta fucking talk about the difference between killing and actually murdering. That's a difference,
I saw a tweet that perfectly encapsulated the killing/not killing mantra with superhero films. Because nowadays, this one person, I can't remember what their tag name was, but they basically pointed out that all these superhero films are war films. That's essentially what they are. There is an adversary that is trying to oppress other people or trying to overthrow other people or trying to rule other people, and there's a hero trying to stop them, right? And in war, there are going to be casualties and difficult decisions. And when you try to make that to be some evil thing that you never approach, you now take away any possible stakes in a movie. You just simply make it to where it's like, oh, like bright colors, fun, fight scenes. And so heroes killing people from time to time, like, because real heroes like soldiers and policemen who aren't corrupt, right? They are sometimes asked to use lethal force. They're sometimes put in situations where they have to use lethal force, right? So to say that heroes in general don't kill people is not only just kind of a slight to the real life heroes, but it's also just nonsensical, right? It doesn't make any sense. If you have a war against someone who's super powerful, there's going to be casualties, unfortunately, but that is the reality. And when you have something like that, it grounds the story and makes it more impactful, and it leaves the audience feeling tension.
That's a long fucking tweet.
Well, it was a summarization. It was a summarization of the thread. It was a thread. Yeah. But that was a summarization of basically what their point was. And I thought it was a really great point.
No, yeah, it is. It is. It's the difference between killing and murdering is the intent.
Yeah, it is. Right.
Criminal intent. Well, that's a show. But... And there it is, you guys. James Gunn and Peter Safran will be the heads of DC Studios. And they even said that they called it DC Studios.
They rebranded.
Also the DCU now, not the DCEU.
Yes, the DCU.
I ain't calling it the DCU. I already got a name for it.
Okay.
Well, guys, that's going to wrap up the show. Thank you for everyone who came out here.
They deserve this.
Okay, guys, let's go around the horn. Where can they find you? Ryan, go.
You can find me right here on the Nicotina channel. And also on the Four Nerds on Thursdays.
And we got a lot to talk about this Thursday, I'll tell you that. All right, Dawson.
Yeah, we do have a lot to talk about this Thursday. Unfortunately, I will not be on the show.
And now's a good time for. I'm not going to be on the show either.
Yeah, well, I'm not either.
I'm taking my wife to a concert.
It's actually it's just going to be Axel by himself.
Oh no.
Yeah, I can host. Yes, I can host. Don't worry. I'm good at hosting.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care. Let me tell you, we don't care.
But yeah, you can find me on Twitter at NIMW32. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, and everywhere else at DJW32Art. Of course, Four Nerds Network as well. Thursday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Actually, just fun little news. I just finished inking Savage Volume 3, my upcoming comic.
Oh, nice.
So all the inking is done. Moving on to color. So I'll keep you all posted on that.
What sort of ink did you use?
Well, it's digital inking. So
like a paintbrush and like the drop bucket.
Indeed,
a little bit, some of it here and there.
The little paint bucket, you just like.
It's like I only made one page. I can't make another page.
No, but yeah, I just finished inking on that, so that's exciting. And also every now and then here on the Nicotina Show, as well sometimes on the ACS Universe, and never on the Zebrafet channel, ever.
He's been on
I haven't streamed in like a month and a half. So.
I know, I'm just kidding. I wanted to slight you.
I wanted to slight you.
Oh, challenge accepted.
Oh, you slight me all the time. It's not even a challenge anymore.
I didn't even do it once tonight.
I know, not tonight, but all the time you do. Every other time but tonight.
You're welcome.
Axel, where can they find you?
You can find me at you can find me you can find me at Droga52 on YouTube. I've been working on my fan film Red Robin. You can find me on Instagram by Axel Droga. You can find me on Twitter by Axel R. Droga. You can find me on Vero by pretty much just Axel Droga. And yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Sick. And Taylor, where can they find you?
I mean, same place as always. I mean, they can come harass me on Twitter until I mute the app. But no, it's at The Cultured Nerd pretty much on all platforms. It's either me or one of the editors running it. So if you're trying to get a hold of me, they'll get me. So
well, there you go. All right, guys. We'll see you guys next week for the Continue Show. Join us this Thursday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time for the Four Nerds. We'll be talking more about this decision from Warner Bros. Discovery to put James Gunn and Peter Safran as the heads of DC Studios. We'll see how this works out. It's going to be interesting. And we'll see you guys next time. Later.